Lord, and you'll just be with us all, Heavenly Father. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. We'll have our roll call. Bo Bertram.
Here.
Ronnie Blevins.
Here.
Shannon Elder.
Here.
Brian Lister.
Here.
Chuck Heaton.
Here.
Let the record show that Mayor Hodges and Clerk Treasurer Donna Coomer are also present, as well as both attorneys, Michael Wilder and Perry McCall. We have an agenda that's been provided. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ronnie Blevins,
Second.
second by Shannon Elder. Any edits or questions about the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. We have our standing business, which includes the minutes from our April 7th meeting, our current claims, and our payroll allowance docket from March 30th to May 3rd. I don't know if that's correct. Is that correct? That'd be April 30th to May 3rd? I think that's April 30th to May 3rd. Yeah, April 30th to May 3rd. Need a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ronnie Blevins,
Second.
second by Shannon Elder. Any questions on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Is there anyone signed up for public comment tonight? Thank you, Chief. And we have our Legislative Youth Advisor here, Mercedes. Welcome, come forward.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, is this your last meeting with us?
It is.
Oh, okay, wow.
Graduate in 23rd, so.
All right, well, I've enjoyed having you.
Oh, thank you. I've enjoyed being here. So. All right, to start us off, we're excited to announce that once again, WPNQ students are finalists in the Society of Professional Journalists Global Chapter Annual Metro Journalism Contest. We want to congratulate the following students for their work on various content entries: Jackson Berkeley, Wyatt Chisholm, Kimber Doherty, Christian Grayson, August Haste, Ellie Jenkins, Devon Lockhart, Parker Odell, Claire Paxton, Gunnar Stamper, and AJ Todd. The awards will be presented on June 11th. At that time, we'll find out who exactly and which entries were the winners. Next, Wyatt Chisholm was named an Indiana Academic All-Star. Wyatt is just one of 40 students across the state to earn this incredible honor. Next, the boys 4x100 relay team of Noah Phillips, Braxton Black, Leland Mobley, and Peyton Elmore broke their own record again with an incredible time of 43.97 at the Faulkner Relays. Cameron Mitchell set 2 school records in one day at Eastern Relays. Cameron Blaze at a 47.03 in the 400 meter, beating his own school record of 47.99 set in 2025. This also set a new record for the event. He then clocked in a 21.89 in the 200 meter, beating his 22.02 from earlier in this season. This also broke Justin Braxton's 2009 record of 22.28. Together, he and Wyatt Chisholm, who ran his personal best in the 400 meter dash, scored enough points between the two of them to earn 4th place in nearly 100 teams at the relays. Next, the Pirate Gophers broke the school record for the lowest team round with 150 in the win against New Washington at Hidden Creek. Ty Watkins had 37 points, Cohen Cooley 37, Gunnar Stamper 37, and Luke Hammond had 39. Lady Pirate basketball juniors Chesley Jackson and Alexis Fincham were named the top 100 showcase. And then Chesley Jackson, as well as Anthony Fresh, will be participating in this summer's Indiana All-Star Games. Next, we want to congratulate Lady Pirate softball coach, Mr. Whitten, which he earned his 600th career victory when the Lady Pirates defeated Austin last week. Then cheer coach Amber Neal was named Hoosier Cheer Coach Association Coach of the Year. And then Avery Freiberger and Christian Grayson were named Prom Princess and Prince, while Avery Shields and Cameron Mitchell were named Queen and King. And then Mr. Jason Cox was named Ivy Tech's Ellsberg Campus Dual Credit Teacher of the Year. I also just want to congratulate all AP students who finished up this week. I think AP Calculus was the last today, which I heard that was really hard. And then as well for the seniors for being this far. Thank you all.
Thank you for your service as our
Thank you.
legislative advisor.
Thank you.
We've enjoyed having you, and wish you the best as you go on to your college endeavors. So I know you've gotten a couple of scholarships here and there along the way and acknowledgments, so we're super proud to have you and to have had the pleasure of getting the updates from you these past few years.
Thank you so much.
All right, mayor's comments. I have nothing super special to say, just happy to answer any questions anybody might have and moving on into council comments.
I don't have anything tonight.
You sure?
Shocking.
Think of something real quick.
Oh, you think so?
Pop-up market did start up, so appreciate everybody that's volunteering to help out with that and the
There you
city
go.
sing along.
Look at you.
I was able to kind of do a drive-through on Saturday and able to see some of it, but looks like it's a pretty good setup, and I think it'll be real nice whenever the Commons get in there.
Yeah, we're having to make a few concessions. They had to move up into the grass this time because the commons were happening on Saturday now, and so they were having to access that. But Julie was great with everybody was adapted. They were fantastic. This week was really popular because they did the Happy Chicken Hideaway, one of the vendors gives out $6 for kids to go around and buy gifts or whatever, and so it was pretty
Yeah,
popular.
one's on the east side, see, the sing-along's on the east side.
Yeah.
Pop-up market's on the west side, but when you get the Commons in, everything will be right
They're
all
gonna be
together,
together.
so it'll be pretty cool.
It will be. All right, good deal. We have no public hearings tonight, so we're gonna move into old business. You remember, we have formally adopted the Public Safety Service Agreement with River Ridge Development Authority. And I had asked Mark Hildenbrand, Executive Director, to come and make a short presentation here tonight, just as an update for River Ridge and what's happening in River Ridge. So Mark, if you wanna come forward, and we'll give you our attention and hear what's happening in the Commerce Center.
Thank you, Mayor, for having me. Thanks for the invite, and council people, thank you all for having me as well tonight. I do have copies of the presentation too, if you want to see what's going to be up on the board. It looks like we had a last minute issue with our presentation. One of the slides didn't come through, but that's okay. I can still go on without it. So, again, as the mayor said, this is just a quick update of where we are at River Ridge and some of the things that are going on, particularly on the Charlestown end of River Ridge. So if you could go to the next slide. Most people remember, but the thing that we show a lot in our presentations is what it looked like before River Ridge took over. And obviously the biggest part of the mess that was left was on the Charlestown end. You can see on the left-hand side of that screen all of the buildings that were there and everything else. And so that's why it's taken us so long to get up to the Charlestown end, obviously being around since 1998. But really getting into Charlestown in the last 10 years or so. It's been a pretty huge endeavor for us to get there. The next slide that I did have was our aerial of what it looks like as of last year, which is a great slide, and I've got the picture, if you would get, I can show everyone. But how we got there is the next slide, if you could go into that one. We're into about $200 million worth of improvements that we have expended at the River Ridge Commerce Center, including a pretty large years, the last 2 years, and then a big planned year for 2026, 38+ million. And I would say of that 38 million, we've got about 10 or 12 of it directly on the Charlestown side, and another big part of that is our water treatment facility that we're under construction. We're about 50% complete with that, and that's a $20.5 million project. So that's been a huge deal for us, and that's getting our capacity up to 12 million gallons a day, which only serves the Commerce Center, so in the businesses within the Commerce Center, and Charlestown State Park. That's the only two land masses that are served by that. Again, what we do, we're internally funded, in case you did not know. Land sales has been a big part of that over the years, but also our TIF district, which River Ridge has its own TIF, and then the Urban Enterprise Zone, which is property tax related, but that's also an incentive. It's basically a 50% property tax relief for businesses moving in for a 10-year period. And what we do with all that money is then we bond. We have about $130 million in bond debt that we're paying off in about $8 million increments. At our board meeting a week from today, we are proposing another $30 million to cover that part of that $38 million that you see for 2026 planned. So we've got a lot of work still left to do. We think there's probably $150 million, depending on how it develops out, but still a lot left to do, even though we've come a long way. If you go to the next slide, please. Just a few showing what some of the projects. I'm sure you're aware of the sewer project that we've teamed up with on the city. which is a regional lift station. It will serve about 700 acres. That's in the green up there on the screen. We've got a couple of road projects inside of River Ridge that are going on. Miami Trail is kind of our main entrance into the Charlestown end. That is under construction in the last month or so. We're working on the far right-hand side. You can see a pink line there. We've got a name. It says unnamed on that, but it's Jenny Lind Crossing. That's to get us back into the back 650 acres. And then another important project for us, and it's related to the property that the city does own on the far north end of River Ridge. We've got a road that we're working on that will eventually become the main entrance into Charlestown State Park. And we're planning to make those improvements at about $6 million or so over the next 2 years or so. If you don't mind, go to the next one. Another important thing that happened at the end of last year, we completed an access road that will allow access from the Charlestown end of River Ridge through River Ridge to I-265 without getting on State Road 62. We have another road that is another connection to that just recently got paved and completed, but we are cognizant of the effect that we have on traffic on State Road 62, and we're trying to do everything we can to give a route through River Ridge for businesses in River Ridge to not have to use State Road 62 if they don't have to. Next one, please. Economic impact. We do an economic impact analysis every year. We've done it since 2013. These are the numbers, the comparisons between 2024 and 2025. You can see the on-site jobs increased by about just over 600, regional by another about 1,000 to get up to almost 7,800. Labor income went over $1 billion. That's annual labor income and that's for people that are employed at businesses at River Ridge, and then any associated indirect businesses, some of the restaurants and other things around that employ people as well. We had about $158 million worth of private investment. And then River Ridge followed it up with 31 of our own investment on infrastructure inside the Commerce Center. And then 2024 was the first year that we went over $3 billion in our economic output, which is if you add up all those factors together, comes to that number. We increased that to almost $3.6 billion in 2025. Again, that's annual. That's every year, $3 billion plus of economic impact because of the operations at River Ridge. And then the revenue for state and local taxing units, that's local income tax and other taxes, $57.5 million, which was up about $7.6 million from 2024. We expect to add 3,000 jobs over the next 5 years. That includes some of the projects that have been announced that haven't finished yet, and a lot of those are on the Charlestown end of River Ridge. Here's our land sale map, properties map. The orange are sold properties, green are under contract, blue are available. So you can see our biggest land masses are on the Charlestown end. So that's why we're so heavily involved with the redevelopment and infrastructure on that end. Couple updates, CTDI, who has a location inside Charlestown, recently announced a new facility in Charlestown that's going to employ another 400 plus employees. They've got plans for more in the future. I know the big story in Charlestown for a couple of years has been the Cheesecake Factory Bakery project that continues to not move. That was about planned from the Cheesecake Factory. This is their first production facility in the United States in the last 25 years. So it's a big lift for them. Obviously things have changed a lot. Things have become a whole lot more expensive in the last 25 years. They're still working on it. We have no doubt that they're going to move forward. They still have about 2.5 years on their agreement with us to start construction. We expect to get an update in the next month or so from them on what their plans are, if they are indeed going to start this year, but obviously we'll let the mayor know as soon as we know something so she can pass it on to the council and other members of Charlestown. So at that point, that's my presentation, very quick. Obviously, I've got something else that's very important to you guys. I've got a check here that goes along with the services agreement that the mayor mentioned, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has for me.
Mark, I had a couple of questions, mainly, I mean, I don't know the answers to a lot of these, but I think it's good to have it on the public record and share while you're here with the council to make sure that it's accurate and that I'm not misstating anything. First off, and these are questions or concerns that are often brought to my office or that our council people here or come up in our community groups about River Ridge. And so if we could just clarify some of these issues, that would be great.
Sure.
The first is involving the Jeffersonville Data Center, the Meta Center.
Yes.
A lot of times people ask about the impact on the water resources. Could you give a quick explanation about how that data center is different than a large portion of data centers that we hear about in other parts of the nation?
Yeah, so obviously that's a big deal for us. I mentioned earlier, we had our own water system. So we have no impact on Charlestown's water system, Jeffersonville's water system, Watson Water, all the surrounding. In case you didn't know, I showed the map at the beginning of the ammunition plant when it was in operation. There are estimates that when the ammunition plant was in operation, they used 70 million gallons a day of water in the production.
70 million.
70 million gallons a day. Our newest expansion will get us up to 12 million gallons a day. That's about 17% of what the ammunition plant used. That aquifer along the river, which feeds Charlestown's water system. It feeds a lot of them as you head to the south into Jeffersonville and that kind of thing as well. Has capacity, it's been studied over the years, of well over 100 million gallons a day. So there's plenty of water in that aquifer. Now back to Meta, they are using a closed loop system. So basically recirculating the water that they're using. Their peak numbers are not significant in our water usage. In fact, if you look at them, they're not even gonna be a top 5 water user at the River Ridge Commerce Center, because they only use on the hottest days of the year. So a day like today, if they were in operation, they would be using the ambient air to cool the servers and everything inside there. They're only using it on days that, from what I understand, are 90 degrees and above. And that's when they would use the most water, but then what they're going to be doing is they're gonna be recirculating that through their cooling system, so it's reused, it's just not a use. So they came to us originally and proposed an amount, and I'd rather keep that confidential, but what I will tell you is what they have come to with this closed loop system is 10% of what they originally proposed to us. So a very significant drop in what the amount of water that they're using. And the other thing I'll say, just in general, Meta's been a great partner for River Ridge, and I think for the community, specifically Jeffersonville, and what they've done through grants. They just went through another grant program. They've given over $500,000 to Crater Clark County Schools in the 2 years that they've been under construction, and that's even before operations have started. So all data centers are not created equal, and we think we've got a great partner with Meta.
Thank you. You mentioned the UEZ, so another question that I often get asked out and about is, why are the property taxes not, or the idea that we're losing property tax revenue because of River Ridge? And I often explain to people that before River Ridge, we got no property taxes from it anyway, because it was government-owned land, it was federal government-owned land, so we didn't lose anything when River Ridge came on. But you mentioned the UEZ in particular, and sometimes people say, well, why are they getting a tax break? But it's a 50% property tax break off of River Ridge's TIF collection, right?
Correct.
But that's performance-based, is it not? If they don't meet those metrics and turn in that data every year, they don't get that.
That is correct.
Okay.
There's paperwork every year where they have to report, what the assessed values and everything on forms. And what I'll say, so the urban enterprise zone, basically it's kind of like a payment in lieu of taxes. They're paying a membership fee to River Ridge to be in the Urban Enterprise Association. And what that is it's their increase in assessed value. So when they make improvements, that increase in assessed value is deducted from their assessment, and then they pay 50% of those property taxes. After that, I mentioned 10 years. After the 10-year period of the urban enterprise zone, that goes into the TIF. The TIF revenues, the real property revenues, go to River Ridge. So basically, the land tax, property tax comes to River Ridge. Real, personal property taxes go to the overlapping taxing units. So after a 10-year period, Clark County, City of Charlestown, City of Jeffersonville that have tax, that in those taxing districts will receive, Greater Clark County Schools will receive tax from the personal property taxes after that 10-year period.
Thank you. Roads, I have just two more questions.
Mhm.
Roads. The roads in River Ridge are technically privately owned by River Ridge. You guys do all of the maintenance, you do all the repairs, you do the snow removal, every bit of that. The cities are not, Jeffersonville, Charlestown do not have to do any improvements on the roads. However, they are allowed public access. So when you're talking about building these connector roads and helping flow traffic off of 62, they function in a way as public roads with access, but it's still
That's correct.
privately maintained by you. So in our road inventory, when we're doing paving, we never have to worry about paving the roads in River Ridge.
That's correct, and snow removal is another big thing. We do all the snow removal inside of River Ridge, but the mayor's exactly correct. We have easements on those roads to allow access and utilities to be installed, and it's basically for the businesses that are coming into River Ridge, but we do not enforce any other public entity or person from using our roads. So there is a lot of cut-through traffic, and you notice it in the morning specifically coming through River Ridge, heading toward I-265, but we have no restriction on our roads. But yes, the expense of constructing, installing, and then maintaining is all River Ridge costs.
And then the final question I had was, the majority of the land, the bulk of the land remaining in Charlestown is subject to the moratorium, the wage moratorium that River Ridge adopted, where the company that wants to buy that land has to guarantee they're gonna pay more than the average Clark County wage in order to get that land.
Correct.
So that's kind of just an extra level of protection, I think, that the board has put into place, the River Ridge Board has put into place to make sure that we're attracting higher quality jobs in this area. So-
Yeah, and we're gonna be very picky about that too. We're working on several projects that are paying $30+ an hour. The county average wage for this year is $27.25. So we're shooting for jobs even higher than that. So yes, there is a moratorium, so we cannot, as a staff, without board approval, sell to a speculative developer. We have to know who the end user is, and then we have to know, as the mayor said, that they're paying above the county average wage for their employees.
Any questions from you guys for Mark?
I got two questions and a comment. Number one, you're not gonna put a bunch of stoplights on in your private roads like we have on 62, are you?
I can't promise that we
You
won't.
ain't
He's not gonna confirm or
I
deny
can't promise
that.
that we won't have one, but we don't have any currently.
The main thing I want to comment, I met you down there at whenever Congressman Housen come in and we
Mhm.
talked down there. I want to say just personally, I appreciate everything you've done as far as what we're doing down there with the state park entrance and being a partner, and I know you got a nice little check there and supporting our police department. I think that means a lot to us. It means a lot to me personally, and I do appreciate it, so thank you. That's all I got.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I will just say too, I'll take more questions, but obviously the partnership that you talked about is a huge thing, and will be a part of the ceremony tomorrow on the wastewater treatment plant. Obviously, we contributed to that as well, but it's a big part for River Ridge, but we also want to be a good neighbor too.
We're gonna be neighbors for a long time. We don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah.
We work through it, and I mean, there's a lot of things that you're not always gonna agree on, but that's okay. So,
Yeah, appreciate it.
I was just gonna say, this $3.58 billion, I think most people don't realize, that's like monopoly money. So people don't realize how big of an impact
Yeah.
that has made in this area.
Yeah.
So it's a great impact, we really appreciate it.
And it's things like this is what we're trying to do. I've been executive director now, luckily to have been chosen to take over for Mr. Acey when he retired. But getting close to a year now, but we've been very visible in the public and trying to tell the story of River Ridge, because I think there's been a lot of years that has been lost. And we want to make sure that the people in Clark County understand that we're neighbors, and we're doing what we think is the best for River Ridge, and hopefully that impacts the community like it has in the previous years, for sure.
a lot of people see the Jeffersonville side, and you showed a map of it. So you've got, most of your buildings done on the Jeff side is done.
That's
You know, I
correct,
used to
yes.
work at a gate too, a long time ago, way before that ever happened, but
Mhm.
what percentage do you think is built in all of River Ridge compared to what you still have for sale?
Yeah, so we're saying about 1,500 acres or so is available. 300 is the office park that's out there, you know, in the very south end
Yep.
in Jeffersonville. The other 1,100 or so is in Charlestown. We are approaching 3,000 acres sold. We had 6,000 total was our portion of the ammunition plant. We think about 4,500 is developable or sellable land, so we're about 2/3 of the way through.
Okay.
So 20 years, you know, you would expect at least another 10 years. You know, if things go right, it may be sooner than that, we sell out of property, but, you know, we're gonna make sure that we're gonna have the right fit for River Ridge, and especially on the Charlestown side, for sure.
Still a third of it to come to us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good job. All right, I think that Wendy, the external affair, I don't know, your title's so long there. I'm not even gonna try to say your full title. I think she wanted to get a group photo of us receiving the check from Mark, and I asked Chief Cruz to be here for that too, since it's his department, so we can all kind of
Absolutely.
get up real quick and stand in front there with Mark and receive that check, then we'll get on with our agenda.
Put on your long shirt on.
Tell us when you're up.
Yeah, that's really standing. Thank you.
I know it was a little bit, it was great.
It's a good day. Here, you get right here.
I don't want to see you, I don't want to see your long shirt on. You're fine.
Come on, Bo.
Look, he's not even in Class A's. He's in duty, he's been on duty all day.
You guys look great. Moving just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. I'm gonna take several, say cheeseburger. I can't do it that way. We'll go this way. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir. Who
No,
takes-
he's giving you the
Who
check.
takes the
No,
check?
Donna takes the check.
Yes. Thank you for the chief, appreciate it.
Donna got it, we'll let you speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you very much.
I think we should adjourn now.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I know that was kind of a long presentation, but I thought it was important to get that update. I've asked Mark to kind of think about putting us on the schedule whenever anything big is happening, kind of maybe get at least an annual update would be nice, just to keep up with the projects. And of course, anytime you guys have any questions, they're always open for that. Yep, all right, so moving on through our agenda, we have the second reading of a couple of ordinances. These were already approved at first reading, your last meeting. The first is 2026 OR3. This was that epic additional appropriation. To remind you, I know you did this back in February, but remember they changed the rules about how we publish them through the Department of Local Government Finance. And so we had to re-advertise that epic appropriation. And so you approved it at first reading, the re-advertised one at last meeting, and today is the second and final reading. So I would need a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Motion by Chuck Deaton.
Second.
Second by Ron, Shannon Hilder. I was like, I don't think y'all said at the same time. Are there any questions or discussion on that one? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. And then the other one was the appropriation from the CCD fund. This was for the tasers for the police department. Remember, the CCD fund is restricted for only use for public safety. And so this was that second reading to allocate some money from that CCD fund over for the purchase of those tasers. And I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion?
Motion by Shannon Elder, second by Chuck Deaton. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. We have two items of new business tonight. The first is ordinance 2026 OR9. If you recall, last year when we were working on the budget, we changed we had pulled some of the items out of the parks budget, and we were going to use the portion of the edit fund for quality of life to pay for that. We never actually appropriated that money over as an additional appropriation. We just removed from the fund, and it really cut into our parks budget for maintenance. And so I met with Donna and asked her to create this ordinance to actually appropriate that money from it's coming from the edit fund for parks. So it's already there from the economic development income tax. We just need to allocate it. It's not coming out of the general claim at a general fund at all. And so the actual dollar amount on that is $27,500. So I would need a motion to.
Let's go, you said from the edit to.
It's just, it's not going into the parks It's just allocating it from the Edit for Parks. So
Oh, okay.
the money sits there. We get money in from Edit every
Right.
month. We get more than we use.
Right.
From Edit every month.
Right.
But in order to use it, we have to go through the appropriation process.
I make
So
a
this
motion.
is just appropriating it, saying, yes, they can spend it on that.
I make a motion.
Okay, so I have a motion from Chuck Eaton. Second by Shannon Elder. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Considering that Carrie really needs the funds to be able to supply her maintenance firm, but she had some pretty big hits on some parks equipment. I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules and approve this on second reading.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ronnie Blevins. Second by Shannon Elder. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was unanimous. So then this will be the second and final reading of ordinance 2026 OR 9 on the edit quality of life allocation of $27,500 for parks.
Make a motion.
Chuck Deaton makes the motion. Second. Shannon Elder seconds. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you for that. And then the final action item tonight was the annual memorandum of understanding with the Greater Clark County Schools. This is the agreement for our two school resource officers, Brandon and Tyler Lyons. I had Chief review this. Chief, you were good with it. There were no issues with it. Remember, they pay half of the true value of salary, benefits, and everything, and then we pay half from our local option income tax fund. So nothing has changed about this agreement. We just need to get it in place for the counties, for the school system's fiscal year. And we just need a motion to adopt.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ronnie Blevins. Second. Second by Shannon Elder. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous, and it only requires one reading because it's a memorandum of understanding. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Unless there are any other statements or issues from our attorney or Donna, we need a motion to adjourn and sign it as well. Chuck Eaton makes the motion. Second. Second by Shannon Elder. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Sign before you leave, and remember, we have a plan commission meeting that is now
Hey,
3 minutes past time to start, so.
hey,